So in the original Orphan, Isabelle Fuhrman was a 12-year-old playing a 30-year-old pretending to be 9 years old. Now she is a 25-year-old playing a 30-year-old pretending to be 7 years old? It's a whole new level of Benjamin Button disease. Welcome horror fans, and thank you so much for clicking on this review. Orphan First Kill is a prequel to the 2009 Jean-Colette Serra directed original, and it hits UK theaters this Friday, August 19th, where we find Lena Klammer escaping an Estonian psychiatric facility and traveling to America by impersonating Esther, the missing daughter of a wealthy family. But when her mask begins to slip, she is put against a mother who will do anything to protect her family. Now for reference, I am quite a big fan of the original Orphan. I find it to be a clever little horror film with a creative twist to it, so coming into this film, I was quite worried. It being a prequel, I didn't know if 13 years later, the facade of the 30-year-old psychopath playing a 70-year-old girl was going to be believable. And as a whole, it's a very conflicting film to talk about. In a lot of ways, it's better than I expected. There are quite a few interesting concepts that are presented that captivated me. Genuinely, at points I thought this was going to be better than the original as I watched it. But then it is also followed by a bunch of pointless, tonally jarring, and inconsistent ideas that do not make logical sense within the context of this one film, nor do they make sense given we know what happens next with the original existing. But before I elaborate on my review, I need you to start the conversation about Orphan First Kill in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on the original, if you're excited for this one, if you've seen it by the time you find this review, and if you're enjoying this review. If you love movies and TV, this is the place to be, so consider clicking that subscribe button, and you won't miss any future conversation on your favorite movies and TV. First, for my positives, I have to praise the technical ingenuity of the magnificent makeup work, the seamless digital de-aging, and the creative cinematography, where they find these clever camera angles and ways to shoot around Isabelle Fuhrman, who is now 25 years old, to make the facade of the 30-year-old psychopath playing a young girl very believable. And whereas Isabelle Fuhrman's performance is now more nuanced and believable on both sides of the character, her performance is much more nuanced, but it's really the visual artistry from a technical standpoint that really stands out, where every time Isabelle Fuhrman shares a frame with anyone else, it's always a wide shot from her back where they use two body doubles that are around the age she was in the original film, and then on the close-ups, it's all her performance shining to create this believable, immersive facade of this character. In general, the film is shot very well with a bunch of wides and swooping long shots that don't cut for the longest time, really, where it almost feels like an action film, where it can deliver more gory stuff than the original, and it also creates more tension because, surprisingly, from the script, the tension is twofold. I cannot spoil what happens in this film, but while it's still a very intimate, family-centric horror film where it's just focused on Esther injecting herself into the lives of this family, the dynamics are quite different, and I mean that in a very good way. About halfway through the film, it goes in a direction that I did not call and makes the whole thing more tense, but more importantly, more unpredictable. I was truly engaged once this film takes this very interesting turn, and that really worked. It generated a lot of tension from the places I expected and from the places I didn't expect it. When you have a prequel, I think that's quite important to deliver. That generating of tension and unpredictability is so great because it comes from the family dynamic and how different it is from the original film, where I found myself constantly engaged and wondering what was going to happen next, where now all characters present, all characters that we are following, find themselves between a rock and a hard place. Really allows Isabelle Fuhrman to display her range on screen and show a new, different side of Esther, or Lena in this case, that we had not seen before. However, those interesting turns, those interesting directions are met with, like I said, a bunch of undercooked ideas that make absolutely no sense. And one of the biggest problems with those directions the film takes, it's exactly the direction by William Brent Bell, who previously delivered The Boy and Brahms' The Boy 2. A lot of the issues I have with this director's storytelling is tone. There are scenes in this film that feel tonally jarring. You'll have this extremely gory and tense scene that's really visually horrifying, and then you'll follow it up by scenes that feel like a mundane Lifetime Channel family drama with hokey dialogue and stiff performances. Furthermore, where the film takes an interesting turn about halfway through, that turn, while conceptually interesting, leads in a direction where it leaves you with no one to root for, with characters that just say and do the meanest things, and that gives the film this bad versus worse thematic structure where I don't think that's the right direction to take this franchise or duology really in, where the least dislikable character is the father, but even he is more like a plot device than a character properly. So while the halfway point of this film takes things in an interesting direction, I found the way it executed those changes, those dynamics from then on were very contrived, where it just feels like it's putting the pieces in place so the first film can take place instead of telling its own story, which is a shame really, because for the first half of the film, the characters, the story, the technical aspect, guys, and some of the direction kept on surprising me. But unfortunately, a lot of undercooked ideas and concepts that feel like they're directly from a first draft of a script and not a finished one really weighed down the overall product and tainted the general experience. I don't think it fundamentally fails as a prequel, but it features a ton of the issues that usually plague a prequel film. First Kill seamlessly captures the simplicity that made the original work so well. Clever filmmaking and creative execution. But there's also the ever-present feeling of it trying to recreate the original and a collection of contrived and head-scratching ideas. I'm giving Orphan First Kill a C+. Those are really my thoughts on Orphan First Kill. I need you to let me know yours in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Big thanks to Signature Entertainment UK for allowing me a chance to see this one early. And thank you to my channel members who always support this channel. And I'll be back very soon. So until the next one, love each other and love the movies.